Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to clone and move a role in Palo Alto's Panorama by using the API. What we are doing is finding all the roles in each policy in Panorama that are not application ID enabled and cloning them to be an application ID role. I know that Panorama does this with Policy Optimizer. I think this could be done a little differently, and maybe that's a video for later. We are going to clone a role, then move it above the clone role and add in the application IDs. We have the firewalls logging all the traffic to Elasticsearch. So this is how we can see what application IDs have been identified by the firewall for each role. So we're going to use a Python script to do the following. The first part of the script queries Panorama, gets all the device groups. The second part queries Panorama for each device group policy. Then we check the policy for roles that do not have application IDs in them. From this, we can query Elastic for the role name and see what application IDs have been identified. The query is limited to the last hour. This could be longer, but for this video, an hour is fine. From the query, we build a list of application IDs that the firewall has identified for that role to include into the new cloned role. Then we clone the role, then we move it above the old role and add in the application IDs. So first, let me show you the Elastic index for the firewall traffic. As you can see, we have role name and the application. Now, the document contains a lot more information about that session. For this video, we're only interested in the role name and the application. We can visualize this in timeline. And as you can see, the role name plus the application ID that has been identified. Now, onto the policy. As you can see, we have a number of roles that have application IDs enabled already and the old service roles. If we go back to timeline, we can see here that we've identified Wi-Fi to untrusted as a role that could be converted. Let's have a look. As you can see, application any, services any. If we take the T to untrusted role, as you can see here, again, any to any. Back in timeline, we can see that we've identified a number of application IDs to add. Now, onto the Python script. As you can see, we're going to get some output to the screen about the roles that have now been cloned and moved. Let's have a look in Panorama. As you can see, T to untrusted has now been added with application or app ID at the end of it, and we've included all the application IDs that we've seen within the last hour. Let's go back and have a look at Wi-Fi to untrusted. As you can see, we now have a role above it ending in app ID with all the app IDs that have been seen for that role in the last hour. We could have the script commit it and push it to the firewall. As I said earlier, Panorama does this with Policy Optimizer. But for me, what about if we wanted to automate adding objects, addresses, or even splitting a role based on some requirement? Policy Optimizer does not do this for us. Thanks for watching.